check. Check.
We're going to do the scores.
Okay, perfect.
Check.
Thanks, bro.
I just heard you say check and a huge delay there. Is that
Yeah.
you just play something?
So it's no longer live, though.
Are you trying to see if it's actually playing on there? Oh, okay.
I think so.
We're going to do the scores.
Okay, perfect.
Check.
Oh, yeah, we're live, I think.
Just delayed, right?
Yeah.
Sort of said check and a huge delay there. Is that
Yeah.
Oh, it's placed.
We got one viewer. It's me.
Is that right? We got one.
All right. I wonder if I should, like, share this. Basically, we have a split screen. They won? Wow.
Interception of 36.
All right. So now streaming for the U21 mixed doubles U.S. Championship Finals for all a couple of viewers watching right now. We're in Duluth, Minnesota, and I'm Corey Dropkin, and I've got Dean Gemmel on the mic here with me.
Hi, Corey. 35 teams came here to Duluth on Friday, and now we're down to the final two competing for the CK Cup and the USA Curling Junior Mixed Doubles National title. Winner of this will go on to represent the United States at the inaugural World Junior Mixed Doubles scheduled for May at the Saville Center in Edmonton. We're picking up the action here in the second end. This is the gold medal game between Allery Johnson and Will Podrosky against Heidi Holt and Zach Brendan. Brendan and Holt jumped out to a quick 4-0 lead early. And Corey, for anybody who is listening, thanks to you and your mixed doubles playing partner Corey Teesey for first putting this event together last year, the CK Cup, and then this year allowing it to serve as the national championship. So what have you seen here so far this week, Corey?
You know, it's been a lot of good curling. We've had some great ice. Rock's been curling nicely here, so it's been an exciting week. And we're down to the last game, so it's I know there's probably a lot of nerves out there right now, but yeah, exciting start.
On the adjacent sheet, actually, I think I said Allery Johnson. It's Gianna Johnson here in the final with Will Podrosky. On the adjacent sheet, her sister Allery Johnson, playing with Caden Hebert, is in the final against Ella Wendling and Benji Perel. Wendling and Perel were the 2024 Youth Olympic Games bronze medalists in this discipline. So lots of good curlers on the ice. We'll check in here to see if Johnson and Podrosky can bounce back from that, giving up that early four. Corey, I'm sure you've given up big ends early in mixed doubles and rallied at some point in your career.
Oh yes, mixed doubles is a crazy game. As many know, you might give up a few early, but there's lots of ends to get your points back. So we've had a lot of crazy games out here this weekend, and there's been a lot of action since 8 a.m. on Friday morning after our Thanksgiving Thursday. So lots of dedication from all these teams making the trip during the holiday weekend. We've definitely seen some threes, fours, and fives flying both directions from one end to the next, with different teams catching back up right after. So it'll be interesting to see how Will and Gianna bounce back here in the second end.
So it looks like Johnson and Podrosky are lying 1 at the moment, possibly 2. I think just 1 though. As Heidi Holt looks to be a little strong here, coming to the back. Challenge for Johnson and Podrosky here is what, Corey?
You know what? The 4 foot's a small area, and there's already 4 stones in there. So they certainly have their 1 secured on the button. I'm not sure if they're sitting 2 or not, but the big challenge is going to be how to build a 2-3, like a multiple score here. So it looks like they're going to try to freeze around here on that intern side. It's going to be tough with the positioning of that yellow rock on the top of the 4. So it's going to be tough to remove that rock, but let's see how they make this.
Is this a moment when you might entertain playing some kind of hit?
Right now, yeah, it's kind of tough. You could play a hit, but how are you improving your position with the hit? You might try to get to the inside of that yellow so that they don't have an easy tap or bump on that yellow-red combination there.
Well, if they were to run something in earlier, they might have a chance to, open up the rings a little bit, but they probably wouldn't be lying 1 after that.
Yeah, so they will have that red run back onto that yellow-red combination to squeeze that yellow out of there, but that does come with a little bit of risk. However, I don't think that red on the button's leaving.
Heidi Holt playing the draw, trying to freeze right on top, I think, of her own. We'll just wrap around. This is where I think for a lot of people who don't play mixed doubles as much as you do, Corey, it gets challenging to figure out how to manufacture a number. You're down 4, you need to manufacture some kind of number. You're hoping to anyways, there's still time, but it does, it's a bit of a brain teaser at times.
Yeah, often, especially in the first few rocks at the end, you're trying to, play your freezes and your taps to gain a position over your opponent, and with hopes that, you get a half miss out of your opponent, so you might be able to play, a hit to lay a bundle, or be able to open up that 4 foot maybe.
Of course, steel's more prevalent in mixed doubles as well, so you don't have to get everything back here in this end. By
Correct.
Any means.
Big thing is just trying to make sure you score next and answering with at least a couple here.
Podrosky's going to chisel that in. I'm not sure if our overhead isn't tremendous here, so I'm not sure if they're lying just 1 or 1 and 2 or 1, 2, 3.
Not sure exactly what Zach is playing here, but it does look like if they choose to, Gianna will have that intern run back on the red to see if she can slash it onto the yellow and get rid of that for potentially 2, maybe 3.
So last shot here in this end for Holt and Brendan. Zach Brendan throws 1 and 5, typically.
Yeah. My bad.
Well, it's a bit unusual. We've seen that a little bit more here with the junior players, where typically in men's and women's adult mixed doubles, the men are typically throwing 2, 3, 4.
Well, they guard the run back. So that definitely took care of that. Looks like they might have an angle tap here for their 2.
It's a rock higher than when Podrosky tried it, so slightly easier if it's a little chisel. It's one of the changes to mixed doubles, and as an accomplished mixed doubles player and a world championship champion in the discipline, I'm sure you follow some of this, but there are conversations about whether you should alternate who throws which stones and which end. There's even been discussion, I think, I don't know how serious, about going to 6 stones and 3 and 3, but
We definitely bring an interesting dynamic. I mean, I think I'd say often players get comfortable throwing first and last or throwing the middle three, and it would definitely create more of a well-rounded need to make sure everyone's able to make all of those shots.
Drosky trying to carve this over. Don't think he's going to get it there.
Not
It'll be
quite.
one for sure, and I think that's it. Yeah, the one thing that comes up, Corey, in mixed doubles is that they would like to.
One red.
Oh.
It's confirming one red.
Texas Mike Levesque flashing a note to us that I found incredibly confusing, Corey.
I did too. I wasn't sure what he was.
Figured it out.
I wasn't sure what he was messaging there.
I thought he was making a lunch order for a minute, but yeah. So it's one for Johnson and Podrosky. They get on the board. Trail 4-1 after two ends. We're still a little distracted by Texas Mike Levesque out there. He's got some more instructions for us that I don't understand. But one of our top volunteer officials, Mike Levesque, is at a lot of events, and we appreciate all that he does for us.
Here goes, and he's writing another note.
We're going to turn this into just the decipher Mike's notes.
He's asking us if we're just doing the one sheet.
Oh. There we go. Yes, we are. We only have cameras right now, and for this on this sheet, I think both games are available on the YouTube channel, but we're only watching this one. I will give you an update. There was also 4 in the first end on the bronze medal game. Wendling Perel scored 4 to go up 4-0, and they haven't posted the score yet for end number 2. Mike Levesque will get to that as soon as he's done writing us notes. This is Allery Johnson. Will get things underway here in our gold medal game. Third end. So I sort of would like people to entertain that idea on mixed doubles, Corey, of maybe alternating who throws 1 and 5 and 2, 3, 4 each end. Might add another element of planning and strategy. Corey Dropkin, 2023 World Mixed Doubles Champion, also adjusting the computer here. Nice work.
Yep, trying to keep our viewers happy. Sheet 7's got a little bit of a tough angle. I thought we had a direct overhead angle for you all, but we're going to be fiddling around with shifting from one look to another throughout the game here. Yeah, I think that would be a fun little dynamic change. You know, say Corey throws first and last in the even ends, and then shifts to throw the middle 3 in the odds.
You could do it a couple ways too. You could say each player has to throw 1 and 5 and 4 ends.
Yeah.
Right? You don't even have to say alternating. You choose. Sort of lots of extra thinking. I think would be interesting. Podrosky here with his first and the third end.
Maybe something to test out in a future event. Doesn't need to be national championship necessarily, but we'll see what happens next year. Maybe that's something we can entertain here at the CK Cup.
Yeah, next year that might be when with the Olympic trials for mixed doubles already over this February, it might be a good time to entertain some different formats. Podrosky a little short, didn't finish quite as much as he'd hoped.
So I believe Heidi's going to play the intern freeze here.
So your father, Keith, is also coaching Zach Brennan and Heidi Holt, is that correct?
That is. I think he got the call a week or two ago, and I think he's enjoyed working with them so far this weekend.
Just by. Great line if they get it there.
Just a little short, but
still good position though.
depending on how much it's curling on the spot, I think you'll see will either try to corner freeze on that yellow, or if it's looking good and the weight's right, coming right around it and seeing if he can get to the nose of the red stone.
Big thanks to the Duluth Curling Club for hosting both your event here last year and then again this year over Thanksgiving weekend. For people who don't know, this is a very busy club, lots of activity, so finding time for events outside regular play is challenging, so we appreciate it whenever we're welcomed here. And of course, we'll be back right next door in the Deck Arena for the Men's and Women's Nationals at the end of January. Are you excited about that, Corey?
Absolutely. Another championship in Duluth. That should be a very fun one. We're looking forward to hosting that event here and myself getting to curl. Curl instead of host. It's a lot of work to host an event, Dean. I'm finding that one out.
Yeah, you did a fine job. You and Corey were here every day, so definitely I think it speaks volumes about the willingness of our top players to support events to help promote the game. Certainly these are our, number of our best U21 players here, but also a lot of players in this event relatively new to competing. So I think it's worked out very well. I sort of liked that it was a big field. It got a lot of kids involved, so that was good.
Yeah, I think one of the really cool parts too is you see actually some kids, some juniors that aren't necessarily involved in the four player sport and getting involved in mixed doubles and getting to show their talents here. So it's very cool to see them here and competing.
Pedrosky now with Johnson Pedrosky line 1.
Looks like this one's short and over curling a little bit here, so this will give Heidi an opportunity to probably play a hack weight hit on the nose of that red to sit shot rock and in pretty darn good positioning. And this will be her last, so their 4th shot. So you'll probably see if she makes this right on nose, and there'll be sitting that Gianna and Will would be forced to. Oh, she's on the intern.
I thought that's what Zach motioned to. They played this intern. I wasn't sure exactly what the call was, but I guess they figure they can get there with the intern. It does look open with the outturn. This looks heavy and like it's not going to finish.
Yeah.
That's big trouble for Holt and Brendan. Sort of agree with you that the outturn certainly looked like a more natural shot, and now an opportunity here for Johnson and Pedrosky to really sink one in there.
I think you'd have her freeze right onto just outside, a whisker outside nose of that red rock. You'd probably be a for sure steal of 1.
Yeah, with the
and
freeze.
anything short is pretty darn good too, as long as you're right on that line.
With the freeze, it'll be very difficult for Holt and Brendan to score. Gianna Johnson with her team's last here in the 3rd end of the gold medal game at the CK Cup USA Curling Junior Mixed Doubles Nationals. Pedrosky was on it early. Now it looks like it has some curling to do. And might be a little. Now they're trying to maybe get that little chisel. Bounces off.
That looks like they could play through there with like hack weight and just play a little hit and roll to the button, but I think they're choosing to play the intern draw.
Yeah, I think they're choosing that same line. It certainly looks available with the outturn. I mean, we're a little off kilter here, but I mean not in any mental way off kilter, but our sight line is a little off kilter. So we think Brendan is trying the same intern draw. They must feel like it finishes in there and he can get enough of the button to score 1. Brendan up to help sweep.
Looks like they like what they see right now.
Line looks better than the last on this shot. Does have to do some curling still, though. Not sure it's going to get enough of the button. It's close. Looks
Pretty darn good attempt. I'm not sure.
Not sure either. They're going to push some rocks away. Certainly close for who's won. And they've come to some agreement, and we'll see Mike Levesque.
And it was one yellow. Great shot.
Great shot by Zach Brendan, drawing the side of the button, really, for one.
As you say to me, that hack waiter little bump and roll looked like the easier shot, but if you're Zach Brendan seeing that in-turn draw, you know you're going to make it, you might as well just do that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's proved me wrong a couple times the last couple hours, so
Yeah, well,
hats off.
If you can make the shot that you called, that works. So make the score 5-1 after 3 ends here. Coaches will come out to have a little conversation with the teams. Chris Johnson coaches Podrosky and Johnson, and Keith Dropkin coaching Heidi Holt and Zach Brendan. Are you going to critique your father's coaching here, Corey? Have you critiqued it throughout the event?
You know what?
You have to be a neutral party.
Yeah, I got to be a neutral party here, but Coach Keith is out there doing what he loves to do. Now living in Minnesota, he and my mother, and really appreciating being a bit more around the sport in Minnesota and being closer to Steven and myself. So it's been nice to have them here.
I see your mom's running a time clock and doing any other number of volunteer things as well.
Yeah, she is. She likes to help out. I think she's actually timing the bronze medal game right now.
I think you're right. So in the bronze medal game, we'll give an update. It looks as though it is now 5-3 Wendling Peral over Johnson and Hebert. Johnson and Hebert scoring 3 in the third end. We'll get the fourth end of the championship game underway here. Zach Brendan, after making the big draw for one, will start things off with the draw around the center. For anybody who's listening and thinking about watching more mixed doubles, I remind everybody that the mixed doubles Olympic trials, our nationals this year, are slated for February at Rock Creek Curling in Colorado. I think it'll be a great event. 10 teams. One more team to complete the field will be determined on January 14th.
Get your tickets and come support your favorite team.
Which team is that, Corey?
Well, me, of course.
So yeah, I do suggest people, move on tickets. Also, move on tickets for Duluth here too. We are actually off to a really good start with ticket sales. So.
Absolutely, and the Duluth Curling Club is planning on hosting the patch for the event, so all the fans and families can come and have a beverage and enjoy themselves between games.
Gianna Johnson just getting by the guard, slips a fraction deep, but after Brendan wrecked on the guard, she went around the guard just off center line with the in-turn.
Yeah, that out turn is probably a little bit more natural to get there. However, that it's now through a port, so looks like she's picking that out turn too.
Pretty good shot. I think she's actually a little overburied. Looks like Heidi will play the out turn.
Yeah. If you're just playing back 8 weight, bump it to make a pocket and sit right in front would be the best shot here.
Brendan on this, trying to hold the line. It's close. Needs it for line and weight.
Got it by, but still got to keep going.
That's
All
going
right.
to come up just short into the 12-foot. It looks as though Johnson and Podrosky will elect to play this in-turn draw once again.
If we could get to the nose of that red, it'd be great. I'm not sure if it's curling enough to get there.
Gianna Johnson was quite tight to the guard, so Podrosky will be hoping to do the same. If they're really tight to the high guard, they'll also have to get by the one of the top 12. This looks maybe a Actually looks really close.
Looks pretty darn good.
Now they're sweeping to straight. Now, can they finish it just a bit?
Perfect weight.
Yeah.
Just need to curl up a little bit more. We are definitely seeing this ice start to straighten out as we've come to the end of the week.
Said it looks like Zach Brendan will ask his teammate Heidi Holt to play this slash. Probably leaves red lying at least one, maybe two afterwards, but just need to get by. Tickle the yellow now. End building here for Johnson Pedrosky.
You might see Will and Gianna just try to throw either a tight guard or maybe corner freeze on that yellow stone in the top 12 foot at an angle so that they can't make any sort of run or tap into the middle.
Give her half bury one in the top 8 would be pretty great.
That would also be a great shot. I think anywhere right within that.
I think they're playing in
Within
again.
that line.
Get tight to that yellow guard or yellow rock in the top 12 foot. I'll end up with what you suggested, so
I think they're going to have a double run back here on that center line. And you know what? Even if they hit it a little bit on the left side of where they would want to for that double run back, running into that side red, you might get some action off that. Oh, they're going for the other one here.
they're going to throw you another wrinkle here, or throw you another curveball, Corey, and play the wide run versus the double run.
Oh, you know what? You can stuff this one right onto the button, onto that middle red.
Could, if you play right to the middle red. I mean, there is a wall. If you hit it at any angle, it's going to come into some reds. But that
was a tough hole to hit that one through. That was a tough
unbelievable.
hole to hit through.
I don't think either of us would have bet on that. Chiseled it through that small opening, and now Pedrosky can really close things down here.
Yeah, I think they'd be looking to go top 8, biting the forefoot here. Try to get half to 3/4 buried.
Yeah, if they get under that half or 3/4 buried under the rock in the top 12, makes it really tough for Brendan on his last.
Yep, that might leave the outturned freeze onto the back 4 stone for yellow. So
Agreed.
you'd also maybe consider just going top 12 here and maybe leaving them a chance to make a double or a triple. But
Yeah, you could get a little greedy here and leave a freeze at the back. So this looks pretty good, though.
this definitely gives the opportunity for a bigger end. Oh, that looks like it just sat down.
Yeah, he is. See Brendan make a great draw going the other way. He needs another good one here. They would have liked that shot to be. Would like that.
Just a couple stones deeper.
Yeah. Still, Zach Brendan with a nervy out-turn draw here against 3. He and his teammate Heidi Holt up 4 here in the 4th end. Brendan with his last shot here in the 4th. Tough one.
Heidi looks like she likes it.
Both on it now. Weight looks close.
Looks
now
very
they're just
close.
trying to carve it over a little bit. And that will settle in for,
That looks like it might be second shot.
I think it is second shot. So
Very good. Zach Brendan with the goods.
he's bringing it this game so far. Now there's not a lot of good options for.
You know what? You got this double run back, which is not an easy shot, but it's an opportunity for 4.
I think you have to play it down 4, playing the 4th. You're lying 1 right now. I don't think you can. Have to be fairly unlucky to dislodge with your own shot rock.
Mm-hmm. I think you got to play it.
Looks like they'll take it on. Looks like they're going to go with a broom down versus a brusher. Podrosky will put the brush down for his teammate.
Gianna Johnson.
I think you usually chase these yourself, don't you?
Me? Yes, I like throwing out a broom, getting
Like
up,
the
and
broom,
sweeping.
Chasing. Be no chase here. They're going to watch it and hope. How close is it? Doesn't look too far.
Oh.
Disaster. Just as I said, you'd have to get pretty unlucky to chip your own out. I think they did.
Looks like one yellow.
One yellow for Holt and Brendan, and then it turned in a hurry there, Corey. It was set up for 3 or 4 for Johnson Podrosky the whole way.
Mixed doubles is a funny game. It's crazy how quickly an end can turn over just with one half shot and the opponent's capitalizing in a big way.
So that makes the score 6-1 for Holt and Brendan after 4. It's the 4th end break here at the CK Cup. USA Curling Junior Mixed Doubles Nationals. Have the awards out on the ice. There we go. There are the awards, and that's the bronze medal game. You can check in on that.
Looks like Gallery just made a really nice hit and roll to the top of the forefoot there. So they're sitting 2, it looks like, and putting some pressure on Ella and Benji's last one here.
Allery Johnson and Caden Hebert played Gianna Johnson and Will Podrosky in the semifinal. Came down the last shot that game. Can't be easy for their dad, Chris Johnson, to watch his daughters play against each other, I'm sure.
I think that was the first time that they played against each other, is what I was hearing upstairs.
Oh, interesting.
The younger sister gets to let the older one know that she's undefeated now.
Apparently. So.
All right, last shot coming here in the bronze medal game, 4th end.
Ella Wendling. Looks like she's trying to chisel this one over. It's pretty close.
Great shot. Not sure if they got one. It looks like Red scored one still, but that's a great shot to keep them from tying the game up. So it looks like Wendling and Perel will go into 4th end break up 1 with Hammer in the 5th.
How much do you like playing in bronze medal games, Corey?
Those ones can be heartbreakers to play in. Tough to get up for.
Although I think when people get out and start playing, then they decide they want to win, But it's a bit tough.
It's not the one you want to be playing in, but it's always nice to go home with some hardware. So it's important to try to take the time you need between games and refresh, press the reset mental button, and go out there and go win another curling game. All right, well, both teams are on their 4th end breaks. We are going to take a short break here as well, and we'll be back in a couple minutes here for the start of the 5th end in the gold medal game.
All right, we're back with the fifth end action of the 2024 CK Cup USA Curling Junior Mixed Doubles Nationals. It's a combination event, and we're happy to be here. It is 6-1. Heidi Holt and Zach Brendan out of Bismarck, North Dakota, up over Gianna Johnson and Will Podrosky. Both teams sailed through. I don't know, did either team have a loss in the qualifying round? Not sure.
No, I believe this is the number 1 and number 2 seed here playing in the final.
So it all worked out. Look at that, through the semis and everything. So Brendan will get things underway here. He's made a couple of big draws to score one, and also to last end was to force, but then ended up stealing as well. So this one got that started, and he's going to wreck on the center line guard.
It looks like it tapped that centerline guard to a position on the, might be biting or half in the 12 foot, but not buried around the center guard, which is important for a tap later in the end in case they're able to make a play on that. So not a disaster, definitely not the way he wanted to start this end, but might be able to use it later.
This is Johnson now. Podrosky gets the brush down early. This looks like it needs some help.
The line looks great. Just needs to grow some legs, it looks like.
So if you couldn't get it there, the line was perfect. Just comes up short. So after an end when they applied pressure throughout, but gave up a steal, need a bit of a bounce back here for Johnson and Podrosky.
So Heidi's electing to play that out-turn draw around the red center.
A little wider now.
It looks like they need to go to get by.
Really close for line, but do chap off there.
It's just the chase to that 4 foot right now.
They could entertain the hit and roll under, I guess, but I think they'll continue to play to the 4 foot. One thing I haven't seen much when I've been here, I got here yesterday, is I haven't seen many of those sort of traditional 2s and 3s. You sometimes see in mixed doubles where the end gets blown up and then it's a pretty straightforward 2 or 3.
Yeah, there's been a lot of guards and wrapping around the guards. It's been lots of clutter, I'd say, in these ends this weekend.
Another one where the line is good, but I think it's going to come up just short as well. Certainly usable now, but so Heidi Holt will throw what? I'm not sure, Corey, because
Thinking probably in the in-turn wrap. I don't know.
Like.
I don't know if they want to throw the tap necessarily, because if they hit it a little bit too high and split open, that opens the door for Gianna and Will to come around. So they'll probably just try to wrap right around here and at least get a good number 2 in there, not necessarily needing to get shot rock.
They're trying to do right now. It looks like they will chip off the guard for the one in the top 12. Now that in-turn is open. And Johnson indicates that's what she'd like her playing partner to play.
Mm-hmm. You might see that that stone that they just threw come into play later on as something to play off of for either team.
Yeah, long off of that, or Podrosky's draw on the way.
Trying to carve it in there.
This one looks like it might be a hair short as well.
Yeah.
Working it, trying to get it by.
Looks like ice conditions might be slowing down a little bit out there. I know that they've been looking for 13.5 to maybe 14 hog to hog.
You'd expect after the break that it might be a little faster, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
That being said, it is also the 8th game of the weekend.
Right.
So it's been a long 3 days for these curlers out here. So I'm sure they're getting exhausted, but just need to keep pushing through and trying to do what they can to make their next shot. Looks like Heidi might be trying that out-turn tap.
Wide out turn tap. So looks like you'd have to hit this one pretty thin with a bit more weight to get it to the lid, but
Not a bad result.
no, it definitely starts to make the deuce more difficult, and looks like Johnson and Podrosky will take on their own tap.
On the intern side here, and you might see that the one nice thing for yellow is they left that stone kind of right where it started, so they still have that out turn run back for future use.
We'll see if the yellow stone in the 8-foot on the left-hand side, as we look at Gianna Johnson, we'll see if that comes into play yet, as you mentioned. So Will Podrosky will try the tap, trying to tap this right onto the lid pretty much. Bite the lid probably. Johnson and Podrosky line one right now. This looks like it has also some issues with strength. So about 3 or 4 shots in a row now, both teams a little confused by the weight, not quite dialing it in. Now we'll see Zach Brennan is eyeing up this in-off you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, they got 2 options. You can play that in-off on that intern side, or they can play that out-turn tap again that they just played. Need to get a little bit wider of an angle, but this is definitely there on this intern side.
If they get the hit and roll behind, it's pretty much lost if it's shot back there. Not a lot of good ways for Johnson and Podrosky to get at it.
Yeah, they might have that angle on the top 12 red stone to the left of the center line, but that's certainly not an easy shot.
Yeah, the 2 staggered stones there, where
Correct.
if you hit basically as much as you can see of the one that's slightly deeper.
All right, Zach Brennan.
Zach Brennan with his last, he's trying this hit and roll. His team's last shot here in the 5th end. Lying second
close.
shot at the moment. He's on and off, and now he's trying to carve it a little bit. Certainly don't want to be aggressive with this roll. That
Ooh.
looks like it's going to...
Not quite get shot rock, but that's going to make it really tough to get 2.
Yeah, 2 is extremely difficult now. You're trying to, I guess, just... Looks like one where you just have to try to draw the tee line and hope it carves in enough. So Johnson Podrosky with their last now. Gianna Johnson, they're lying 1. Would really like to get 2, trailing 6-1 at the moment. They'll need to put this on the tee line and get a pretty solid chunk of the 4-foot. Intern draw. Podrosky seems to not mind it so far. Hasn't really hit it yet though. Might be running just a bit. Looks like it's going
close.
to be heavy, I think. Never laid a brush to it, it slides a little too far, so it'll be 1 for Johnson Podrosky here in the 5th end. Make the score 6-2 after 5 in the championship game. A little update over on, we'll give you the update on the bronze medal game here shortly, where Wendling Perel are up 5-4 for Johnson and Hebert. I think we should be in different seats, Corey. You're reaching over here, and I don't know what you're doing.
Trying
on
to
the
direct the
monitor.
cameras.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing on the monitor, and I'm clearly not the one to do it. Teams will come down and talk to their coaches. We can get a little look over at the bronze medal game there. Looks like
Johnson Abear might be counting one right now.
Yeah, I think they are. They're having a good look at both, but it looks to me like it's one for Johnson and Abear.
Be a little bit careful here to not jam on the yellow, but it looks like they're going to try to hit about a quarter rock of that red and see if they can slash it over the top of that yellow without touching it for one.
Keep our eyes over there as this we can see the bronze medal game house, and we can see the hack for the gold medal game where Gianna Johnson will get things started. Looks like with an in-turn draw around the center line guard.
Benji's on off of this, so it looks close.
Ella Wenley trying to pick this one, I think, and she does.
Makes it perfect.
It's a pick for at least one, maybe more.
Looks like one yellow.
That is it.
Yep.
One yellow. Great shot to get one there.
Take a 2-point lead.
Make the pick for fun, kind of. So Johnson, as in the last end, there's teams struggling a bit to find that extra 6 feet they need. That comes up a little short. This is Zach Brendan now with Heidi Holt with the brush down.
She slammed that down, getting it ready to looked like she wanted to start carving it, but
She
just
wanted to change the alignment. You see players do that a bit now. There's a time when that might get you in a bit of trouble with an opponent, but I think we'll see. There's much discussion about changes to brushing after this in this next quad. We'll have to see what happens there. Do you have any thoughts on that, Corey?
in terms of what exactly? What kind of
What
changes?
they might start to not make legal. I think the biggest problem is they're not sure about, how to. They don't really want to get in a situation where officials are making judgment calls on sweeping. So I think it's vexing, but I think there's some who believe that, especially in the four-person game, that maybe sweeping has become too prominent, too important versus actually how the rock's thrown.
You're definitely seeing a lot of shots being made with sweeping. It's crazy what sweepers can do with their broom nowadays. But in four-person curling, sometimes you're seeing one of the sweepers doing the majority of the work. And I know for viewership purposes that might not be the best, but for shot-making purposes, we like to make more shots. So I can understand it.
Yeah, I mean certainly everybody's playing by the same rules at the moment. So no, if you are, you're going to do whatever you can to make as many shots as you can. So it'll be interesting because there's not a lot of, there was a time when things like snow plowing, etc., were illegal, but it's tough to figure out. We don't want to have our game, I think, be in a situation where officials are making judgment calls on whether sweeping is within the rules or not. I've been down that before, and it doesn't work that well. Good shot there, though, by Will Pedrosky? No, sorry, Heidi Holt.
Heidi Holt with a nice draw. That's kind of one of those spots where you could be aggressive and go into the 4-foot, or being that they're up 4, they could just double peel those center guards and try to clean up the sheet a little bit. But they decided to go aggressive. She made a good one. There's definitely room for Will to make this freeze here on this intern side. So let's see what happens here.
On it a bit early. Now looks like he might be hoping it slows down. Starting to walk over a little bit. It's getting better.
And it is going to be darn near
Good.
perfect.
Yes.
That's a great shot for Will.
Frozen just on the edge. Brendan up quickly to peel these two staggered centerline guards. Holt with the outturned peel. This one might be floating a little bit, and it is. Got a little aggressive on that release. Popped it out a bit. Now Podrosky with a chance to put a little extra pressure on. Doesn't have to be frozen here either. If you could ever wrap it and just sort of bite the button, right, would be really good.
Mm-hmm. Same exact shot he just threw. Probably wants to take a foot or two off of it so he can sweep it to carve it in there a little bit more, but same path he just threw.
Well, Podrosky with his, looks like this is his third shot of the end. Saying top four, which would be pretty good. Now it's a question of can they get a bye. It looks like they're going to be on the guard, on the almost on the high guard. Now they'll be on the. That rock just curled a lot more. I don't know if he didn't get out to it or.
A lot of times playing, especially mixed doubles, there's, if you don't quite get out to that line or maybe you get a little bit further out, the ice it reacts a lot differently than on a track that you've played numerous times. You get a little bit inside and it starts to curl a little bit earlier and more of the weight comes off quickly and you kind of get made like, kind of feel silly with how the shot ends up. So it looks like he might not just have gotten quite out there. And now it gives Heidi Holt and Zach Brendan an opportunity to make this in-turn draw here to the tee line.
Brendan now trying to carve it a little bit. No, now he's
carving it.
Knife it over. It
Weight looks pretty
better.
close.
Weight is close.
Weight is great. Just
didn't finish enough.
Yeah.
Now can Johnson get one inside there? Looks like she could from our vantage point.
You don't really realize how quickly these ends go by until you start watching and even commentating on these games.
Even more than you realize when you're playing.
Yeah. Well, when you're playing, it just feels natural. You're doing everything subconsciously in a way.
I agree with you. Whenever I've done commentary for mixed doubles, it always does seem as though the end, we're suddenly arrive at the conclusion of the end.
Oh, yes.
Before I realize it. But Johnson could make things really tough, could make it really difficult for Zach Brendan to score with his last one. I think she'd like to play this draw and maybe just chisel off that yellow into the top of the button. No, it's guarded for line. They also have the same problem here with line again. Can they get by everything? Looks like it's closing down. They won't. They're going to spin off.
Well, one thing is it's not going to be easy for Zach and Heidi to get in there for a score.
Yeah, Brendan motioning that he'd probably have to come off his own to get enough of the button. So he really needs to throw about back button weight and hope he gets enough finish. So Johnson, Podrosky, line one. Zach Brennan with his last. He's made some good draws with his last shots so far in this game. We'll see if he has another one.
It's one of those shots you almost just want to throw a little bit of a softer in-turn at, help it curl a little bit extra.
Looks like it's starting to carve. He certainly didn't
It's
underthrow
close.
it. It's really close. Does he get enough inside it? Ooh.
Oof.
Very
Great try.
close. Really good try, but make it another score of 1 for Johnson Borowski. They'll steal here in the 6th. So make the score 6-3 for Holt and Brendan over Johnson Podrosky. Power play still in the mix too, I think. Neither team has used those.
And I think there's probably conversation right now. Do we use our power play?
It's sort of a no-brainer for Heidi Holt and Zach Brendan, isn't it, to use it here?
I think every team's kind of got their own, I'd say, strategy of how they like to use their power play. I think if they use it now and just make sure that they score, I mean, they'd be up 4 at least going into the last 10, which is a great spot. The other way to think about it is if you don't play it and you peel as quickly as you can, and at the worst, maybe give up a steal of 1, you'll be up 2, play your power play, and keep it open from there, and you should have an open hit in the last end.
So there's the logic chain from Corey Dropkin. So our 5 viewers, how many viewers do we have right now, Corey?
You know what? We were at 70 a minute ago. We're at 68 right now.
68. All right, so our 68 viewers, maybe they can remember that logic chain from Corey Dropkin.
Everyone's got their own preferences on how they like to use their power play.
It looks like Holt and Brendan are going to use their power play here. So setting up the rocks on the far side here. It's interesting, the power play was initially designed, they thought it would promote offense, but it's used almost as much as a defensive move, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you're playing great up the middle and you feel confident about scoring without the power play, why not try to save it? Try to get your lead early and save it for the last end and use it as a defensive method to win the game late or secure your lead.
Gianna Johnson will put up the center line guard here.
So now it'll be interesting here to see what Zach and Heidi choose to do. If they go around the corner, they might want to tick the center guard or come around the center guard. Let's see.
Those are all the options. It looks like they're going straight around the center guard. We will see a lot of players go around the corner, play a tick here. Brandon, who's owned the 4-foot all game, I guess he figures he'll just put it top button.
If you own the 4-foot, you might as well keep owning the 4-foot.
And it's settling in, maybe a fraction deeper than he would have liked, but pretty good.
And I think you'll see, no matter where Will goes here, say he makes this freeze perfect, I think you're going to see Heidi Holt jump in the hack and throw a peel, which she loves throwing.
Podrosky will try the freeze, the intern freeze around the center line guard that his teammate just put up.
That's a big sweep by Will to get it pretty much frozen here.
As you said, Zach Brendan up quickly with the broom down for this peel. Peel on the way. They watch it. Looks like that works. Almost chipped the red in, but I got the double peel. But so, peel made.
I think you're just going to see guard peel for the next few shots here.
More of a traditional curling game all of a sudden here. I've been impressed by the strategic thinking here of players. I mean, I think one of the things, Corey, now is that these young players can watch so much curling. It accelerates their learning process.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're certainly of an age where you could watch a lot of curling, but there's even more now than when you were coming up as a junior player. There's a lot available all the time.
I think, let's see, was it Madison? Madison had a few sheets streamed each draw for the Madtown Double Down. I think Denver had a stream going as well. So I think both mixed doubles events that I've played in, they've had some form of streaming for everyone to be able to watch, which is nice for the younger curlers. It's nice for parents and family and friends, everyone to be able to support their teams.
And our 68 viewers. I mean,
Absolutely.
right now, I mean,
76 now.
76. I mean, we are.
Can we get to 100?
Spread the word, viewers. We're down to the end here in this game. Here in the 7th. Another peel made.
She got the double. That's
Yeah.
rock count right there.
Throws those really naturally. That in-turn, she missed the out-turn peel coming this way, but that in-turn peel looks pretty natural for her.
I remember at junior camp in Denver a few years back, meeting Heidi for my first time. She loved throwing hits, and we were working on leg drive and generating more weight, and her target was a 7.5 hog to hog, and she hit it for her first time, and it was pretty exciting. Her family was there watching as well, so it was kind of a neat experience, and I think she can probably throw a sub 7, maybe even sub 6 now. I don't know if she's pulling that out this game, but she's throwing those upweight hits pretty darn well this week.
Yeah, and throwing them easily. I mean, they look easy for her, so you're right. If she needed a sub 6, she might be able to get there. But, yeah, it looks good. So Brendan's going to stare at these for a moment. This is Holt's last.
Looks like they're about ready to call a timeout, maybe. Do they draw or do they hit?
Yeah, the question is, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how those rocks are lined up there. If they do just peel again, I wonder if Johnson could leave 2 sort of in the top 4. That would make it difficult. But you'd only be giving up 1, I think, right? So.
And the timeout's called.
Timeout called. We'll see Coach Keith Dropkin.
Coach Keith is coming in.
We'll see what he weighs in on.
I think if you peel the guard, they're probably playing either a hit and trying to separate to make you throw against the couple, or they might play the tap and try to get that yellow to the back 8 foot and keep the 2 reds in alignment so you can't just straight peel it without jamming.
I think if you peel, there's 6-3 game. If you peel, you'd have to say the most you're giving up here is 1.
Yeah, because you're probably playing a hit on the next one.
Playing a hit on your last.
Mm-hmm.
Most you give up is 1.
Worst case, you're up 2 with the hammer. Be nice to be up 2 with the hammer and a power play.
Yeah.
But pretty darn good position. Let's see what. Wish we had a mic on them, but let's see what they decide with Coach K.
Talking about how they might. I think Zach is saying if we peeled, Valerie Johnson could stick this one here, but he'd still have some kind of hit.
Mm-hmm.
He'd also have the extra yellow in the side. If there was ever a double, he could even lose his own yellow and probably still score 2.
He's probably thinking if he guards on that out-turn side and they draw with that in-turn and get shot rock, he probably has a fairly open pick out to score 1.
So right, that's what they've settled on, the guard here, the guard they're going to guard that red stone that is sort of partially buried behind the red guard. They're going to guard all of it.
I think the important part here is making sure you're overlapping with that red guard.
Keith Dropkin asking his son Corey if he's up or down with that call. Corey's not willing to wade into that family matter. He's saying it's a wash.
I think they're both good calls. You just got to make the next shot. I think an important part about this guard is make sure you get it overlapped with that red so you don't give the straight run back for them to sit 2 buried. Not an easy shot by any means, but if they make that shot, that's the best shot.
Yeah, sort of half tuck it behind that red. This looks like it's curling a bit early. We've seen both teams with the out turn maybe not quite get out to it or be a little fooled by how much it's curling on that side. Looks like they're going to, well, they almost did it the other way.
Yeah, they might have that run back. I'm not sure if they're going to play it.
Does
Not
look
an
like
easy
the
shot.
run back is there. I'm not sure they have a lot of other good options considering the scoreboard.
Right.
I mean, you play the run back and you might rely too.
I think that's the shot you need to call and make. And then you get them to draw against 2 if you're down 3 right now.
Yeah, and you hope you don't get unlucky and have something pop open. But I think I think this is definitely the shot. Probably game on the line with this shot, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of need to make this one here. The way Zach Brendan has been drawing this game, if he has to draw a full forfeit, I feel like he will. If he draws for a full forfeit for 2, but
Gianna Johnson with the run back attempt. She's made a lot of big ones this weekend. She needs another one right here, so. In-turn run back, right on the nose.
right on the nose. Maybe a hair high side would still work, but right on the nose. Here it goes. Gianna Johnson, rock on the way. We're going to watch it. This looks like it's curling. This looks like it's not going to hold up, and that will leave Zach Brendan with a draw for 2. So I think you could say that power play usage successful here.
I would say it was successful.
Brendan can really ice the game here with his draw. The ones you always want to make, though. Otherwise, you're really bear down to make the draw for 2. Otherwise, you think about it the next end.
You never know what happens in this game.
So here we go. Last shot, 7th end. Zach Brendan looking for full 4 to score 2 and take a real stranglehold in our championship game. This would make it 8-3. Might see handshakes.
They're on it early.
Both on it now. I think it's going to over curl, so I think it'll just be 1. I see Johnson and Pedrosky are looking at the scoreboard to decide that it's handshakes time. I think it would have been handshakes if that was made, but it's not, so make the score 7-3 after 7 ends. In favor of Holt and Brendan. We'll go to the 8th end. Pedrosky and Johnson still have a power play, so I guess they could use that here if they want to. What do you think? Is it easier to score 4 with the power play?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I have seen a team be down 4 and score 5 with the power play. That was 2 or 3 years ago. Doesn't happen often, but I sometimes like to think it might be a little bit easier to generate around the center guard. But we'll see. We'll see what they play here. Zach's definitely been hot around the center guard. He's had his draw weight. He's made a lot of his first shots in this game. So maybe they choose to play a power play and get him thinking about chasing around the corner. Oh, we got 92 viewers, Dean. We're getting up there to the 100 mark.
We really got some momentum here. So they are going to use the power play here in our championship game. They're going to set up Pedrosky and Johnson. Try to manufacture 4. Down 4, need 4. In our bronze medal matchup, it's Wendling Peril up by 1 over Johnson and Hebert. Johnson and Hebert look to have
1 and 2 in the house. I think they're counting 2 as well. Looks like we have last shot coming from Ella here.
Throwing last shot in the bronze medal game, facing 2. Meanwhile, in our gold medal game here, Zach Brendan with his first power play setup.
They're choosing to go top forfeit.
This looks like it has some pace. It might be a little deeper than top 4. Should settle in the back 8, I think.
It'll still be shot rock, back 8 foot.
And now Johnson will try to play this out turn, come around the corner guard.
I'm going to slide over to the other view to see the result of this shot over in the bronze medal game. It's like Ella's throwing a hit, trying to make the double.
1 looks like she'll...
Oof, close.
Close, and they'll give up 1, so they will... That game will be tied, but Wendling Peril will have the hammer in the 8th end.
She looks like she's got a good one coming in here.
This does look pretty good. Weight looks close. Can they make it curl just a little bit more. Good start here for
It's a good spot.
Johnson Podrosky.
We'll see what Heidi and Zach decide to do here. I think I'd be pretty tempted to try to play that corner guard tick and spill my shooter out of bounds and open up those two reds, but it looks like Heidi's playing to the center.
Yeah, you do see that a lot. Higher level mixed doubles that play that chip your own corner guard into the rings and lose your shooter. This looks like
She's
it's
gonna
just going to be a
play.
centerline guard, though. All right, game on here.
Yeah.
Last end. Possibly last end. Johnson and Podrosky are going to look like they're going to go around the center. Guess they could also entertain trying to loop another one behind the corner guard, but at some point they're also, yellow is still shot rock in the back eight. We'll have to deal with that at some point.
Yeah, I almost think freezing even to that yellow stone. You don't need to bump it
Yeah,
right now, but get a nice one frozen there, and you almost get their attention off of those red stones behind the corner guard.
Podrosky, I think, just playing the straight draw, in-turn draw.
Yep, around that center guard. I think looks like they're trying to bring it right back. Might be a little bit short, but
We want to not also over curl and make that cover that yellow stone the other way, but I don't think they did.
no, I think they've got the dig still. So that's a pretty good shot. 3 stones seemingly buried behind guards. Not a bad spot.
Looks like Brendan and Holt will try this run back, thinking that if they don't make it, they'll make the peel, I guess. But or they just not exactly sure.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing the outturn, peel,
Yeah.
and if ooh,
Now they just looks like they're playing the straight peel.
yeah, and if they hit it thin, then maybe they'll make contact with the red in the house.
They might also take a shot at the outturn thin
Mm-hmm.
over the top and get the double. But straight peel. This rock is curling a bit. Might get the run back we talked about.
Ooh, really close to contact there. A little unfortunate. Still 3 reds in the house. Let's see what Will and Gianna decide to do here.
So when a sweeper would have helped on that one, just to hold it straight a bit. But. So what are your options here, Corey? What do you like, or what would you consider?
Well, you have to consider putting up another corner guard. You can also, now play a tap on that yellow or a freeze on that yellow. I think Zach and Heidi will certainly be looking their chops to play a double on those reds. But if you play a freeze on the back 8-foot right there with that yellow, if you hit just high of nose on those 2 reds, that red rock might come shooting over to the pile and not quite leave the house. So that wouldn't be a bad spot to have one.
Looks like they're going to just draw around, in which case I think Brendan and Holt will take on that double that you described. I think the thing I like about guarding the corner, replacing the corner guard, is then it forces Brendan and Holt to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
They could continue to try the run back or the peel, but they might have to entertain some other draw.
The important part here is just make sure we get this one in the house, and if you can get around your red rock in the top 8, that's a pretty darn good spot.
Well, Podrosky on it now. Line looks pretty good.
It looks close.
Wants to get it by and a little
Gotta go.
deeper. Now Brendan will take on this. Ask his teammate Heidi Holt to take on this double.
Although it looks like he signaled for the hit and roll.
He did actually. Yep. Throwing the intern. I'm feeling like this might be the double. Oh, that less than ideal for Holt and Brendan.
I think if you're Will and Gianna now, you're got to think about trying to sit 4 here.
I'd agree. You know, it's some you can't keep lobbing another one in there when right now second shot is that yellow stone.
And you also don't want to group your red rocks by any means and make a potential double any easier.
If you make a play on the yellow in live 4, there's not a good double there either. So
This might be a good time to call a quick timeout and chat this one through.
they're gonna, I guess, just play the wrap again. Is that the call?
I think they elected to play the tap.
Tap. Okay.
The tough part about this is if they do tap it a little high, they might actually bump it to cover the yellow rock to make it a little bit harder to access it.
And then, you know, it could also gives Brendan and Holt the opportunity to just hit and lie 2-3, which would make 4 pretty challenging.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be shot.
It looks close.
In terms of execution of the shot, it's really close. Looks like he'll tap it just a little bit. So I think they're lying.
They're lying 1-2 maybe.
Maybe 1-3. We're not sure, but
if I'm them, I'm probably throwing a missile at the inside of that red and trying to make a double, potentially even triple.
you're right. There's yellow guard really isn't a factor. They're looking at that now.
Exactly.
Hit it anywhere on the inside, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Even if you don't make the double, you just stick yours back there. I think they actually didn't realize it was Zach Brendan's shot already. So Zach Brendan will go down with his last here. Brendan and Holt currently lying second shot at the back, maybe third shot. We think it's second.
If you can make 2 stones go here, that will win the game for them. So big shot here from Zach.
There it is, the out-turn hit on the way. Even if he just sticks his own shooter around, it's going to be tough.
Looks close.
Does look close.
And that'll
There we
make the
go.
triple to
That'll
win
do
the
it.
game and
That'll
win
make it.
national championship.
So there they are, your 2024 CK Cup winners, USA Curling Mixed Doubles Nationals winners. Zach Brennan and Heidi Holt from Bismarck, North Dakota will represent the United States at the World Junior Mixed Doubles in 2024. We've got to go out and present some awards, Corey.
Yes, we do. Yes,
So
we
we'll sign
do.
off, and I'll thank again you and Corey Tisi for putting this event on last year and having it serve as our national championship this year. It's been a pleasure to work with you and a pleasure to work with the Duluth Curling Club.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dean. And also congratulations to Gianna Johnson and Will Podrosky. They played great all weekend and were well deserving here as well. So awesome event for both teams here. And we're going to go present the awards. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We got 98 of you on here, so appreciate it and have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks.